Zaxby's is God's chicken.
I think Chick-Fil-Lay is the Lord's chicken, but Zaxby's is really good.
Is toast really a side?
Sure, why not?
I don't know about Zaxby's.
Does it sit on the side?
It's in a totally different container. It's not on the side at all.
It was in my container. I had 4 chicken fingers, French fries, coleslaw, and a piece of toast.
And how are you supposed to eat all that while you're driving down the road?
I do it just fine.
I do it too, but it's something that they expect, that shit. I'm recording a podcast, by the way.
Oh, okay. What are we supposed to be talking about?
We're not talking about anything. We're talking about Zaxby's, and I wish I had started it when you talked about cutting your leg. Telling this old man story about how you never sliced your leg with a chainsaw before.
Never done it. Or, oddly enough, I've never had stitches from any injury in my life. Now, surgeries, I have had stitches, but I've never had to be stitched from an injury in my life until Friday. Isn't that something? What an accomplishment.
When you told me about the cut, I thought I'd talk back to you and be like, oh, blah blah blah. I guess I'm not. But you actually know me better enough to know better. Like I was on the hospital's frequent bleeder program.
It's funny. I walked in and girl says, "What can I do for you?" I held up a picture of it and I said, "Well, kind of lost the fight with a chainsaw." And I said, "Well, then again, I don't know if I really lost. I'm walking."
And the chainsaw's off.
The chainsaw's off. I said, I still got a leg. I don't know. I think maybe I did win. There's that hawk.
Yeah.
So she said, okay, no problem. They'll be right here. I'll tell you, it was the fastest ER experience I've ever had as well, because I sat my butt in the chair. The nurse came out. Come on back. As soon as I put my butt in the bed, here comes the ER doctor and a paramedic. And I showed him the picture. He goes, well, show me the picture so I don't have to unwrap it when we can get set up. So I showed him. He goes, all right, grab the sutures, grab this, set everything up, cuts off my compression bandage, gets it ready, and he said, I got to scrub it. It's going to hurt. I said, do what you got to do. Didn't hurt at all. Numbed it up, sutured it. I was out the door before registration came to see me. I had to stand at the front counter and get registered.
It's weird that it didn't hurt, though.
It did not hurt at all. It still doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I think there's a word for that. It's called diabetes.
No, it's called neuropathy.
Neuropathy?
Yeah. So I got neuropathy from my nerve pain from my back. So it's one of those things. I mean, I felt it. It just didn't hurt. I also deal with pain, so it doesn't bother me. But it was okay. It really wasn't bad. I mean, there were some good gashes.
It's gasherific.
Oh, yeah.
What'd the wife have to say?
Not much. You okay? Yeah. Okay. Take you to the hospital? Yeah. Okay. She knows better. She knows if I'm not freaking out, it's okay.
Mine had tried to put me on restriction from the chainsaw.
Well, yeah, that's true. Accidents happen.
Ugh. She was pissed that one day we were... Dude, is that another one? That's like the third ambulance running around this morning.
Well, ain't got nothing going on.
0400. Oh. You know what I was wondering the other day when I stopped by with those old people? Because the dispatch said to me, they were like, do you need an ambulance? And I was like, well, I'm not a doctor, but she's old. Should I have said something like, well, she seems very, very confused. Can't tell me what her last name is.
I think what you should have said, and it wouldn't be lying, is that you would have said, I don't know, but it was a pretty hard collision from what I can see, and they may have hit their head and They might be a little disoriented.
Mm.
At that point, they may have a possible head injury or, something, whiplash or something like that could turn into a TBI or something.
Nice.
So it makes them move with a little more, fire under their ass.
Well, it's like a matter of whether they're going to send a deputy first versus an ambulance first.
You know what I think? It's a collision. You should send everybody. You don't know what you're dealing with, right?
Well, and the only reason the airbags didn't go off was because the car was still rolling.
Right. You only understand that, and I only understand that because of what we've done in our past. Somebody that answers 911 calls may not understand how an airbag system actually works. They just know it goes off when there's a wreck.
He didn't sound like...
if the criteria isn't met.
Felt like I was talking to one of my daughter's friends over the phone. Like a social call.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that... you see that Jake Gyllenhaal movie where he plays a 911 operator?
No.
No, you don't watch movies like that.
No.
Oh, it's 13 Hours yesterday.
Yeah, how was that?
It was okay. It was a weird follow-up following the General's Daughter, which gets me every time. The ending gets me every time, the General's Daughter.
I liked it.
She was hot.
Elizabeth, I knew, was bright and shiny.
You know what I like about coming in here? Maybe the killer's in here, all smug and shiny. And he sees us. Maybe he's a little less smug.
Do you like bath salts? Bath products?
Well, yes,
I do. I particularly like the bath beads.
I like a little bath.
I like to draw me a tub and just soak my worries away.
Very good, First Sergeant. I confront you with sexism and you take it for 2 laps around the base.
And I give you a reason why the ambulance is rolling.
Okay.
Because they think they're on patrol.
Oh.
Go park at the firehouse, you nuts.
Oh.
Actually, they did that when the sheriff's office had fire a few years ago under their wing. They had one truck. It was like a 450 chassis or something. And that truck would literally ride around like it was a patrol car. I would see it cruise up and down the neighborhood. I would see it all over the county. And it's like, shouldn't you be at your location, like your centralized station, right? So you can... They would drive around.
Yeah.
I don't know that was a good idea. It puts wear and tear on the vehicle that is unneeded. It's unnecessary maintenance.
Yeah, I'm no hose puller, but maybe those locations are in their locations for a reason.
I'm just guessing.
With other locations
It's possible.
for another reason.
It's possible. They're usually done for a reason. I don't know.
Now, if they're doubling as like what is it, like a community resource officer?
Yeah, but they're not. They're firemen. Speaking of firemen, did you see in Alabama the 2 firemen that got shot?
I heard they had it coming.
Well, one just died from his wounds.
Mm.
But the word that I heard, and I don't know all the facts on it because I have a friend that lives in the area, and apparently the firehouse, they were newer firemen, and the firehouse they were in is a kind of in a bad location, and they may have gotten mixed up in some bad stuff.
That hasn't happened in a while.
So yeah, so it may be more to it than just a couple firemen getting shot. You know what I mean? It may have been some underlying things they were involved in.
Right. It wasn't something like, what was that shit in California where they actually had like the 911 ambush shit?
Right. No, it wasn't like that. Somebody came to the station and targeted them too. So.
Oh.
Yeah. So whether they made waves or they were involved in something, I don't know. But yeah, one of them passed away.
It's Alabama for you.
That's Alabama.
Practically Mississippi.
Little Rock's a fine town.
Where'd you say you boys are from? Texarkana? Yeah, Little Rock's a fine town. I saw this thing came across my YouTube feed where General Schwarzkopf and Tom Brokaw revisited Vietnam. Went to like Schwarzkopf's old battles where he was like the brigade commander and stuff.
That's interesting.
It was interesting.
Have you read anything else on the North Korea guy?
No. You told me that when you're not having to read the news that you were happier, right?
Yeah.
So I figured, seeing as how I don't have to, I even had a newspaper. I just threw that newspaper away.
That's a good thing. There's nothing but garbage in it.
But speaking of newspaper, I did see the thing. It was from the U.S. Army War College, and it had to do with the United States. The premise was the United States civil rights movement as an insurgency, like fourth generation warfare insurgency. It was very, very interesting. But let me put a fine point to this. What it had to do was there were aspects of it towards the end where you would get, for your mission, you would want to get an overreaction response and then have the media be on your side. So you're just there peacefully protesting, do whatever, and you're hit with a bunch of attack dogs or a National Guardsman shoot you in the fucking face, whatever. And then the media's on your side. It made me wonder about today's day and age, though, with media bubbles, how almost, like I could probably pose the argument that civil rights in the 50s and 60s was probably something that was necessary or needed we needed to have some changes.
I agree.
But I don't know if the same thing could happen with the way the media is, because
no, it gets spun every direction.
Nothing challenges you, right?
Right, and the media is so one way because it's all about their clicks.
Yeah.
Because they make money. Now, if the media were not allowed to make like billions of dollars off of what they're putting out, obviously you'd have more accurate news, right? But because it's a business,
they'd have no incentive.
Yeah, so their incentive is to just put out whatever gets your attention. So, you know, the headline can be the worst thing ever, and it doesn't even have to go with it. I saw one the other day. It was a headline, something, cop, I think it's a cop completely violates man's rights, and it had a video with it. I watched the short little video. Nowhere did he violate the guy's rights. The person, he was near a hospital. The hospital wanted him trespassed from the property. The guy was on the sidewalk doing First Amendment protected activity, videoing, egging on everybody like they do.
Like one of those on purpose, like an activist, like a First Amendment activist guy. Okay.
One of those guys. So, you know, they're kind of pushing the envelope anyways. But he was on a sidewalk. He didn't violate any law. The cop didn't ask him for an ID. And the cop was very cordial with him. And all he said was, the hospital doesn't want you back on their property. He said, well, I never stepped on their property. He goes, that's fine. He goes, but as you know, you can be trespassed. They can just say they don't want you here. And he goes, that's all it is.
And it's my job to advise you of this.
Right. And that's all he did. He didn't violate the guy's rights. He wasn't an asshole to him. Nothing. But the fucking headline made it look like there's a Gestapo cop out there that's fucking kicking the shit out of the guy because he's doing his First Amendment protected activity. And, you know, it just the headline itself was bullshit. But there's no one out there that can pull the media back and say, hey, how about, you know, Walter Cronkite shit, right?
Right.
Here's the facts. It's A, B, and C. This is what happened. You determine, you know, how you want to interpret that news. Now, there's no more of that. It's what they want you to know.
There's no easy, I think there's no easy answer for it other than, you know, for sure. And I would say to a certain extent, you can't do nothing with grown-ass people as you could really do. Like, we raise up our kids and do our best to show them the difference.
It's just all you can.
Which
do.
is something.
I don't know. The media is very biased. It doesn't matter if you're right, left, in the middle, far out at the moon. It doesn't matter. They're biased about literally everything because it's about clicks. How many clicks can you get when it pays?
Well, and everything's an opinion editorial anymore.
That's exactly.
Everything.
But they write their opinion so strongly that it looks factual. They try to make everything seem factual. And I can kind of side. Now Trump's a little nuts on stuff, but I can kind of understand what he's been screaming about for so many years with the fake news media, because he does have a point, right? Nothing that they publish is accurate anymore. So I understand that. Now he is very biased to one side versus the other.
Well, it's as if he takes that point where you take 25% truth,
Right.
and then want to apply it to 75% of your narrative.
I'd say that.
Yeah.
But he picks, we'll say, CNN, right?
Yeah.
But Fox News is just as guilty of it. Fox reporting is garbage. Just the CNN, they're all garbage. Let me tell you, the best one out there, I like Al Jazeera. And when Al Jazeera America was around, there was some pretty accurate reporting. They still have journalists.
Before the Ukraine thing, you know what I liked every once in a while? A little bit of Russia Today.
What are you, a commie?
No, but let me tell you something. When I was little,
Come on, man.
It's
Czechoslovakia.
Well,
it's like Wisconsin. We zip in, we zip out.
So I used to always have these visions of being like undercover in the Soviet Union, and then one time, this guy named Elton John, fairly famous musical star, he did that song Nikita.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen the music video for Nikita? It's pretty awesome. She's hot. And then Spies Like Us came out.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, it is. Soulfinger.